Buongiorno.
Hola.
Здравствуйте.
Mabuhay.
Hello.
As you can tell, we all come from different backgrounds, have different life experiences, and therefore have different ways we see the world.
Although different, we know that we are valuable to Enactus Durham, to our university, to our family and friends, and society too. This year at Enactus Durham, we have focused on celebrating life. Too often, we are barraged by news of the state of the world getting worse, politically, economically, and socially. And too often reminded that how each of us are insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Yet every single person matters. Every voice is valuable. That is the simple message that we want to spread. Sounds pretty basic, right? How have we not instilled this in everyone? This message gets lost when there are huge disparities in the community, with many people losing their perception of self-worth. Today, we will introduce you to two of our projects. One local project in County Durham, the Ugly Fruit Group, and one international project in Mumbai called Shakti. Through tackling inequality and poverty, both projects spread a message that everyone matters.
When thinking about inequalities, we usually think of developing countries. However, we sometimes fail to see that these disparities can be more local than we thought.
First, we want to introduce you to the Ugly Fruit Group, a project that aims to tackle the UN Sustainable Development Goals of zero hunger, responsible consumption and production, as well as good health and well-being.
Every perfectly ripe red apple you consume, 3 apples are wasted. In the UK, 70% of fruit and vegetables end up in the bin, with 40% of this being rejected on the basis of their aesthetics alone. The public have come to expect identical fresh fruits and vegetables, expecting perfect shapes and uniform colours to adorn the supermarket shelves.
All this food is going to waste, and meanwhile, there are families in the UK right now that don't know where their next meal is going to come from. In the last 5 years, the demand for emergency food supplies has grown by some 75%. Not only are more people having to rely on food banks, but those that do are not having to return just once or twice, but up to 15 and 20 times consecutively. To add to this, the food banks traditionally almost exclusively deal in long life, tinned and packaged products, which have restricted nutritional value.
Is it fair that some of us throw away edible fruits and vegetables for aesthetics alone, whilst others aren't sure how to feed themselves or their family? At the Ugly Fruit Group, we think not. We believe that there is an obvious answer to the food security crisis, and that is utilising food waste. For now, our project is focused in Hartlepool, one of the towns worst affected by the food security crisis.
Aesthetically imperfect fruit and vegetables that are otherwise destined for the waste bin are donated from 2 main suppliers, J.R. Holland, our university food supplier, and Aldi Dragonville. The best quality produce is donated to Hartlepool Food Bank to supplement their emergency food supplies, which lack fresh produce. The produce deemed to be less long-lasting is turned into snacks for our stalls around the university. With the profit we generate from these stalls, we seek to run cooking workshops with a particular focus on families with young children. We hope to impart the knowledge required to maintain an economically viable, healthy diet on the young generation and their parents.
In the future, we hope to empower the users of the food bank by offering skills and experience that can be the first step out of the poverty cycle. When we secure a kitchen, we aim to have the food bank users produce the snacks themselves. This will allow them to gain valuable work experience and skills that can help them secure long-term employment.
Our long-term goal, once the Ugly Fruit Group is able to be covered by an insurance provider, is to use the profits garnered through the snack sales to pay the food bank users for their role in the food production, eventually making it a self-sustaining cycle. By making the Ugly Fruit Group a self-sustaining, rounded community, we're able to simultaneously address the issues of food waste and food insecurity, and create an easily scalable model to replicate around the country.
Since our pilot launch in January 2020, we have donated over 120 fruit and vegetable supplement packages to Hartlepool Food Bank. This equates to each person, on average, receiving 3 days of their complete fibre day. This marks a notable increase considering that 75% of those contacted during our needs assessment reported not regularly consuming their fibre day. Additionally, in terms of fruit waste, we have saved a total of over 200 kilos of perfectly edible fruit and veg from having gone to waste.
With each successful market stall, we have begun to build our brands in the Durham community, encouraging students, staff, and locals alike to follow the project on social media, as well as raising £40 in income and £1,225 in grants to help expand our project's reach. Our Facebook page has reached over 6,000 people and received almost 500 likes, spreading the message of the Ugly Fruit Group widely.
From home to somewhere that feels less like home, and to a problem that in our lifetime we probably would never encounter. Last year, a generous grant from Durham University allowed a group of us to visit India. What we experienced impacted us profoundly. Meet Sharifa, a 24-year-old woman residing at the National Burn Centre in Mumbai. Her husband doused her with kerosene, resulting in severe third-degree burns on her body. As a result, she was abandoned by her family and ostracized by society for her physical appearance. Disfigurement breeds loss of confidence. Women can often struggle to get jobs when they leave homes because they may not be able to work with their hands, and there is an overbearing social stigma.
In India, an estimated 7 million people suffer burns injuries annually, 700,000 of which require hospital admissions, and 140,000 are fatal. 91,000 of these deaths are women, a figure higher than that for maternal mortality.
Also, whilst in Mumbai, we came across another dissimilar but widespread problem. Schoolgirls in India don't possess many undergarments. They own an average 2 pairs of underwear, and in 5% of cases, the most underprivileged children do not own any at all. Visiting local schools, we realized that schoolgirls receive incomplete sanitary education as a result of poor hygiene and social stigma.
The third and final problem which we encountered, although not unique to India, is the problem of waste fabric and unsustainable fashion. Second only to oil, the clothing and textile industry is the largest polluter in the world. Around 35% of materials in the supply chain end up as waste. In 2013, 15 million tonnes of textile waste was created, 13 million tonnes of which was simply discarded.
So, 3 very diverse problems that we present to you. How do we tackle them simultaneously? Well, our solution is sustainable, simple, and realistic. The first step of the solution concerns the waste fabric. Companies freely donate their spare fabric that otherwise would have gone to landfill. We have already partnered with UK-based retailer Jojo Maman Bebe to run the scalable circular fashion model. Their free supply of fabric makes this project environmentally sustainable and cost-effective.
The second step is stitching. Female burns victims then use the recycled fabric to stitch undergarments. A consensual, comfortable, and safe environment for women employed on a stable salary. This is not the norm in India. We came across anecdotal evidence of women striving to be confident and wanting to return to their lives. Hence, this is part of their empowerment process.
The third step is a sanitary education element. These women, as part of their rehabilitation process, distribute the underwear to schoolgirls. Schoolgirls receive the undergarments free of charge, in addition to educational material promoting the importance of sanitary health. This helps restore their sense of self-worth, reducing their likelihood of dropping out of education.
In terms of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, Shakti tackles 5 simultaneously: no poverty, quality education, gender equality, decent work and economic growth, as well as responsible consumption and production.
As mentioned, our solution is sustainable. We provide the women with sustainable exit options after their treatment in the burn centre. Here they have 3 options. The women can continue to stitch from the comfort of their own home, form a cooperative, or work in the neighbouring state of Gujarat in a factory owned by one of our corporate partners. There is an endgame here. We don't just leave the women to integrate back into society all by themselves. We offer flexibility and facilitate this transition. We know that every case and every woman is different.
Since our project launch in December 2019, we have seen consistent progress. As well as reformulating the project, we have created a logo, a sponsorship booklet, organised pitches with international and local businesses, as well as procured £1,700 in funding. We're also in the process of pitching to corporates as well, namely Burberry and Sage, to acquire sponsorship for Shakti.
Just as the story we heard from Sharifa, our solution is equally as unique, delivering real value and impact. It aspires to thread a future of health and hope in a simple, sustainable, and realistic manner. Now, women like Sharifa, who had lost hope of being accepted back into their communities, can finally reshape their lives, whilst making a positive difference in society.
With our 2 headline projects at Enactus Durham, we are spreading our message. Every fruit and vegetable that gets saved, every piece of underwear that gets distributed spreads the message.
No matter where we are from, we all face challenges. These do not define us, nor do they dictate our self-worth. Our challenges teach us lessons and values we can pass on. Every person should know that they matter. Every person should realize that they are valuable. Every person deserves to be heard and loved. This is our message. Thank you.